lecture of the fluid mechanics. We are already complete the 3 lecture of the fluid mechanics. Those who are not see this video, please go to the playlist and see the videos. um, our targeted full complete of the all the PYQs of the technical subject basis on the mechanical engineering. So let's start from the question 75. Okay, those who are new friends, please subscribe my channel and push on the notification on, because you get notified and join with me live and get me the answer in chat box, giving me answer in the chat box. Okay, question number 75. When a fluid is at the rest, the shear stresses is A undefined, B zero, C finite, D very large. If you know the answer, please comment the answer. I give you a 5 second. B zero. Fluid at the rest condition, shear stress is zero. Fluid cannot resist the shear stresses, यानी थोड़ा सा भी स्मॉल shear स्ट्रेस में फ्लूइड फ्लो करना शुरू कर देता है. There is the explanation is given. As you see, when the fluid at the rest shear stresses is zero, because du जो है change in velocity is zero. So something zero by something is also zero. Next question, cavitation is caused by A high velocity, B low barometric pressure, C high pressure, D low pressure. Give me the answer. I think D low pressure. Cavitation form in low pressure. Here is the answer. Explanation is given. Cavitation is a phenomenon in which the reduction of the pressure toward the below the liquid's vapor pressure leads to the formation of the small vapor field and the cavities in the liquids. These small teeny bubbles each strike the walls and create small holes. This called the cavitation form. Question number 77. Which of the following fluid obeys the equation mu equal to tau dy and Newton's law of which fluid flow? The Newtonian fluid flow the Newton's law of the viscosity. Here is the explanation. Newtonian fluid obeys the equation mu equal to tau dy, where the mu is constant. Mu is the dynamic viscosity. Water, air, alcohol, glycerol, and the thin motor oil are those the example of the Newtonian fluid. Question number 78. Which one of the following sets of the condition clearly apply to the ideal fluid? A viscous and the compressible, B non-viscous and incompressible, C non-viscous and compressible, D viscous and the incompressible. B non-viscous and incompressible. This is the explanation. Ideal fluid assumption is very important. Ideal fluid assumption. Various type of question is framed by this assumption. Incompressible fluid density of the fluid remains constant, non-viscous, and no fluid friction is between the fluid particles or fluid layer. Steady flow velocity of the fluid at each point remains constant in time. Streamline flow, no turbulence, CGL in the flow. Next question. With respect to the term kinematic viscosity, which of the following statement is more relevant? A numerator represents the property of the fluid to the mention its momentum. B, denominator represents the propagation of the disturbance. Denominator represents the physical properties of the fluid to maintain its momentum. It is and the indicator of the absolute tendency of the fluid. If you getting confused between the numerator and the denominator, I give you a trick. You can never forget this denominator and the numerator. What is that portion of the denominator? Denominator means the d means the down. Okay, down yani niche. So this is denominator, this is numerator. We know the kinematic viscosity equal to dynamic viscosity by density. Density is a physical property. In denominator represents the physical properties of the fluid maintain its momentum. So C is the correct answer. Here also given the explanation, you can see. Next question. Question number 80. Which of the following is not considered as the external loads? Those arising from the environment, those arising from the cohesion of the material, those arising from the fluid pressure, those arising from the surface condition. B, those arising from the cohesion of the material, because this is arising in the system. uh, our work is done when external loads is work out of the system work. Okay, this is the explanation. The attractive force between the molecules of the same type called the cohesive. Cohesion is caused by the hydrogen bonding and the van der Waals forces. Next question. What is the unit of the absolute viscosity? Absolute viscosity is poise. Centipoise is the right answer. Okay. If you know the 1 centipoise equal to how many poise, please comment the answer. 1 centipoise equal to how many poise, and 1 poise equal to how many Pascal second. Please comment this to answer. Next question. Under what condition of the fluid flow does the shear stresses not exist? Fluid in the low velocity motion, fluid is in high velocity motion. Negligible viscosity relation motion exists between the fluid layers. Does not shear stress is here. Fluid is the high velocity motion. Sorry, I am wrong. There is the C is the answer, negligible viscosity. Let's see the explanation. The viscosity of the fluid is a measure of its resistance to gradual deformation by shear stresses. If the viscosity is negligible, then there will be the no shear stress. Okay. If viscosity is negligible, there is the no shear stress. Next question. Which of the following statement is relevant? Fluid deforms continuously under the action of shear stresses of even very small low magnitude. Yes, this is right. Fluid cannot resist the shear stresses. Small resistance also not resist. Explanation is Here, a fluid can be defined that deforms continuously and permanently under the application of the shearing stresses, no matter magnitude of the shear stresses. Question number 84. In the if the relationship between the shear stresses of a fluid is not linear to the velocity gradient, then the fluid is a non-Newtonian fluid. Okay, this is the Newtonian fluid which is the linear to the velocity gradient, and they are the non-Newtonian fluid. They are the non-Newtonian fluid. This is the graph. See the answer. Non-Newtonian fluid does not flow the Newton's law of viscosity. So relationship between the shear stresses of the fluid not linear to the velocity gradient for the non-Newtonian fluid. Next question. Which of the following does not represent a unit of the viscosity? Stoke is the viscosity unit of the kinematic, and it is the unit of the viscosity for absolute viscosity or dynamic viscosity. Meter square per second, and poise is the unit of the kinematic viscosity, but meter per second is not the unit of the any viscosity. So C is the answer. Let's check the here is the given the answer explanation also. Question number 86. Mm, as an incompressible fluid moves through a restriction, velocity decreases and the pressure increases. Velocity increases and the pressure increases. Velocity increases, pressure decreases. Fluid moves through a restriction. In restriction, pressure decreases and velocity increases. Let's see the explanation. In an incompressible fluid moves through a restriction, velocity increase and the pressure is decreases. Because area is decreased due to the restriction, so velocity increase, pressure is and decreases. Next question. Stress strain relationship for the Newtonian fluid. Newtonian fluid is linear curve. Here you see the stress strain curve. Shear stress and the rate of shear stress, rate of shear strain stress curve. Rate of shear strain. Thixotropic fluid, bingomplastic, rheopatic, pseudoplastic, Newtonian fluid, and the dilatant fluid. Question number 88. A fluid resistance to flow is a viscosity. If there is a rise in temperature, the viscosity of the liquid. What is the causes of the viscosity in liquid? The intermolecular attraction force is the causes of the viscosity. So if we increase the temperature, then the molecular bonds becomes weak, so decrease the viscosity. C is the answer. Let's see, explanation is given. Viscosity of the liquid decrease with the increase in temperature, whereas the viscosity of the gases increase with the increase in temperature. Viscosity of liquid due to the cohesion and the molecular momentum transfer. Next question. The phenomenon by which a liquid, depending upon its specific gravity, rise into a thin glass tube above or the below its general level, it's known the It's known. Capillarity. The phenomenon by which the liquid, depending upon the specific gravity, rise into a thin glass tube above or the below its general level is known as the capillarity. Capillary action is due to the surface tension. Capillary action due to surface tension. This is remember this. Okay. Next question. What is the density of an incompressible fluid? Incompressible fluid is constant. Density is constant for incompressible fluid. Pascal is the unit of pressure, is equal to the Newton per meter square. Next question. The ratio of the unit of pressure intensity to the volumetric strain, pressure intensity delta P by dV by V, change in volumetric strain. This is called the bulk modulus. Okay, bulk modulus of elasticity. Question number 93. In the graph of the shearing stress versus the rate of the shearing strain, which of the linears represents a shear thickening fluid? Shear thickening fluid. Uh, shear thickening fluid. Yani A equal to 0, A and sorry N greater than 1. Shear thickening fluid. This is the shear thickening fluid. Dilatant fluid. So 4. Let's say option A is the answer. 4. Question number 94. If one of the ends of the glass capillary tube is immersed in a liquid with the stronger adhesion than the cohesion, liquid would rise in the capillary. Liquid can rise or the fall depends on the density. It remains same level. Liquid would the capillary. Liquid is rise because it is the adhesion each more than the cohesion. Question number 95. Mercury is a primary element in emulsion, hymatic, um, magnesium, and the amalgam. Mercury is the primary element of the amalgam. Next question. Viscosity of an oil tends to divide from its standard value during operation. Which of the following factors is responsible for such deviation? Temperature and pressure, degradation of the oil, additives, and the presence of the oxidation product, both B and B, both 1 and 2. Yes, both 1 and 2. Here, the viscosity of an the oil divides from its standard value during operation. The following factors are responsible such deviation: temperature and pressure, corrosion of the oil, addition, and the presence of the oxidation products. Which fluid among the following fluids has the maximum surface tension? Water has the maximum surface tension. 76, approx 76. Sorry, 72. Because here is fluid is question is fluid, so maximum is the water. Mercury is a liquid metal. Consider the liquid J of the diameter D, the length of M, so in figure. Okay. the pressure intensity inside the jet of the above the outside the pressure. So we know the everybody the get pressure inside the jet, water jet is 2 sigma by d. So here is cancel out, and the 2 sigma by d is the right answer. Question number 99. Surface tension phenomenon is illustrated through the following example. Raindrop, breakup of the liquid, rise of the sap in the tree. All of the above is the correct. Printer ink. Printer ink is a thixostropic fluid. Let's see. Printer ink is an example of the thixostropic substance. Thank you for watching this video. For daily practices with me, please subscribe and on the notification to join in live discussion with me. Thank you everybody.